I went to sleep last night in a mood because I had just finished some warrior practice runs. And long story short, I hate leveling as warrior, but I kind of have to do some practice. And the reason is because I plan on league starting as bear, but I want to go for a warrior ascendancy. I don't know how to level as a warrior. So we talking about practice, you gotta put the practice in to know what you're doing. I wake up today, and thankfully, the Lord and Savior himself, Ziggy D, has posted a video. So thank you, Ziggy, because you have saved my excitement. I don't even know if you hear it. I'm actually excited about playing the league now. A lot of good info in here. I'd really just watch the video. Just go watch the video. You've seen the title of the video, and it's not clickbait. I genuinely think we are in a new talisman era. Pick bear, pick werewolf. We're going to talk about wyvern in a second. But I think if you pick either of those two forms on any class, monk, witch, maybe not mercenary because crossbows are the meta speed leveling right now. But I feel like every other ascendancy or class, you could just put on a talisman and you're just going to level faster than anything you were doing beforehand. And then in Act 3, you switch to your main build. Here's the clip of me doing just some bosses on my minion league starter. And I've done a ton of practice for this. This is like my 5th run. And I've finished 3 runs at this point. I'm in the flow. And this is the best damage I can do. Like, I'm doing like 45-minute Act 1 runs, not the fastest, not the slowest. And this is what Ziggy's damage is. His first time trying out werewolf and bear, barely knows what he's doing. I'm not knocking Ziggy, I'm just saying he doesn't even have a meta setup or anything like that. He's just trying stuff, and he's doing the same, if not way more damage than me. So I think we're in a new shapeshifting meta, and I think this entirely, I'm just gonna be leveling as a werewolf or a bear for the entire campaign, and then switch to whatever I'm playing. So that's what we're looking at right now. Now, more importantly, I'm mostly focused on bear leveling, so I want to go over the bear stuff. The only thing I'll mention is I think wyvern is poop from a butt, bro. Like, I don't know, dude. It's rolling magma. This thing got rolling magma from PoE 1. I ain't leveling with that. No, I ain't touching that, and I don't think anyone's touching that. So maybe the flame breath saves it in like Act 2, Act 3, but for leveling, I just feel like wyvern's a no-go. But werewolf genuinely looks pretty good. If you're playing a monk or something like that, I think you have reason to be confident. Now, I think right around here, this 26-minute mark summarizes the entire way I'll be going through the campaign. Probably werewolf for mobility. I'm thinking you use pounce with rage, generate rage, switch to bear form exactly like he does here, slam, maybe war cry, infernal cry, and you see he gets an endurance charge. Now, I've written down kind of my thoughts because this is kind of a lot to go through. Bear has higher uptime on endurance charges, way more than I thought. In some of these clips, you'll be able to see it, but he pretty much has 1 to 3 endurance charges the entire time. Obviously, I'm probably just going to spam Infernal Cry, Seismic Cry. There's kind of no reason not to. If the damage is high enough, you may not even need to do that. It might just be a bossing thing, but pretty much has permanent endurance charges. I did not expect that. The base damage is higher than I thought too. He's walking through the boss. Let's go look at the boss clips. They're insane. And Pounce does look like a perfect initiator. So here's what I'm thinking. We do Pounce, werewolf form for mobility. That generates your rage. You put rage on it, and you put attack speed on your rapid attacks to just make it fluid, right? You could probably put another rage gen stack here if the attack speed feels good, but I'm thinking early on this is probably what we're going to do. Then you bear slam. That creates a jagged ground when you spend rage. So the big slam generates rage, you has rage, you create jagged ground, you shockwave totem. This is already a thing that people do on shield wall leveling. If you've never done that, it's a meta skill level. It's really clunky, but shockwave totem shield wall is already a thing. And so you put jagged ground down, shockwave totem does extra damage. You use that on bosses. Throw down the volcanic thing. He has a clip literally here at the end of the video that shows this exact combo. I mean, look, you can say a lot about GGG and stuff, but when they're creating a new class, they have to make things work together. They can't just make 10 spells that don't interact with each other and just be like, yeah, guys, figure it out, right? So this kind of looks exactly like what I was thinking. Jagged ground, spend rage, totem, volcanic stuff. It looks like it's good damage. I was already kind of thinking of doing something like this, and this just doubles down on the idea that, oh yeah, this 100% is probably the way I'm going to be playing the campaign. Now, one thing you can do is Font of Rage is a tier 3 support, so you can't use this until Act 3, but you could leech Rage, and we want Rage in order to do more bear stuff, so hey, this is just throwing this out there. It's obviously like you type in Rage on the support bar and you kind of see what happens, but still, it looks like it's a pretty good idea. Or worst case scenario, if you're having mana issues, you could do Font of Mana, or probably could just run all of these, right? You just 5-link or 6-link your shockwave totem on bosses, Font of Mana, so you never run out of mana, Font of Rage to get bonus rage. Like, the combos kind of writing themselves, but honestly, I think that's good for a new class. Last big thing I'll mention is right here, 22-minute mark, we see Savage Fury. I'm going Smith of Katava on League Start. This has a downside of 3% per second. Smith of Katava, you can literally get 3% life per second. On top of, just normal life flask. But I could, in theory, just run this and ignore the downside completely as Smith and Katava. It gives you 21% more damage, 32% attack speed, and 60% move speed at the lowest level you can get it. Strength in. What? Hello? What are we doing? I feel like this is going to take Werewolf to be insane, but then all of a sudden you're a bear and you're actually fast. Like, why would you not take this? The downside, for the record, if you're not doing some sort of like health or life regen, is really, really annoying. But for me, I can easily scale life regen or regen on hit and stuff like that. This, perfect. Bear of Katava, I'm so in. He does suffer with the Briar Patch one. I'm gonna be honest, this one doesn't look that good. However, Wolfpack, for my werewolf idea, I have a werewolf idea to level with minions and going extra chaos. Wolfpack is a reservation. So on top of summoning normal wolf minions, you can also get Wolfpack. And then I went back and watched the interview, and you can just have 2 different kinds of wolves. Basically, you have like 10 to 15 wolves. And there's a new one here, Feral Invocation. I don't know what that does. And then Eternal Rage. Bear wants rage. Werewolf wants rage. Wyvern wants rage, even though, you know, I think it's kind of scuffed. I don't know. I just feel like you can't mess up. I feel like there's no way we could possibly mess this up. The campaign looks like it's going to be absolutely nuts. How do you not take Savage Fury and then just one-shot everything in the game? Now, the big thing about this is, as much as you would want to wear this as like a monk or something like that, I kind of am doubling down on the idea that, man, if you're just shapeshift leveling, you could run Savage Fury and you do so much damage. The problem is, as you can see right here, the frenzy ends immediately if you return to human form. You cannot gain Fury while in frenzy. So it's going to be a build-up. You know, you build it up over time, and you can't use it in human form, which doubles down for me personally about the idea that I just want to permanently stay in shapeshifted form. I almost never want to leave it. So for me, the more info I get, just the more confident I am that I'm just like, bro, there's no way, as long as I don't die, there's no way I can mess this up. Also, right here, this Vault Temple stuff, I kind of figured you would maybe do like 2 Vault Temples an act, maybe. The way they were talking about it is you have to do like 6 of them or something like that. The long story short is, I think it just gives you loot. It's going to be your crafting. It's like Abyss. You're basically doing an actual Abyss instead of just looting. You'll be able to do some generic crafting and stuff. So I feel like going through the campaign is going to be completely easy at this point for me. I don't know if it's going to be fun. That's a different conversation, obviously. But I think I'm going to have no problems going through hardcore. I think I'll be completely fine getting through the campaign. I'm really not worried about it. And it sounds like you can get some bonuses on Bear. Now, one big thing I want to talk about here, the last thing for Bear, Ancestral Cry and Walking Calamity. I was totally sold on trying to make Walking Calamity just work on its own. There is kind of a problem though. This doesn't spend our endurance charges. There's nothing in this tooltip that says anything about endurance charges. It just says you gain rage and you'll build glory. Ancestral Cry, we know that you can stay in bear form for Ancestral Cry. Spending endurance charges makes it last way longer, 50% per charge. And we know that we can get 3 charges on the endurance charge tree. You can easily get more endurance charges. There's this wheel here that's extra armor if you've consumed one. Like 60% armor, not a bad deal. Not the greatest. Extra life when you spend an endurance charge, not the worst. And then +2 maximum endurance charges. Again, none of these are amazing. I guess this one's probably the only viable one I'd really consider. So maybe worth it if I'm in the area. Otherwise, honestly, the endurance charges are kind of iffy. But if we want to permanently sustain something like Ancestral Cry, we could probably do that. You're a bear, you're doing fire damage. Ancestral Cry works off of stacking Ignite. So there's ways to... I'm not going to explain the whole logic of it. It's honestly fairly complicated. But the idea is that you just permanently ignite nonstop. That builds your glory for your Ancestral Cry. You pop it and you can make it last 20 seconds, 30, 40 seconds if you really wanted to invest into it. So Walking Calamity is going to have to really do a lot of damage here, because right now I think Ancestral Cry might be the better synergistic setup. I'm going to try both, of course, but I'm definitely more... I feel like Ancestral Cry is going to end up being the War Cry. Hopefully I'm wrong, because I want Walking Calamity to work. It looks insane, but Ancestral Cry kind of feels like it's fitting that narrative a little bit more. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This the leveling looks absolutely insane. I feel like we're in a new meta, and honestly, pretty excited. Genuinely, I went from like a 6 to I'm at like an 8, dude. I'm at like an 8 out of 10 excitement, maybe 8.5. Definitely more excited about this league now than I was the PoE 1 league. So, hey, when I'm excited, I do a lot more playing. When I do a lot more playing, I make a lot more stupid ideas. Stupid ideas lead to me putting out a lot more videos. So hopefully that's what happens here. I'll be doing some live stream stuff every day. I'm literally going to take a break here for like half an hour, let my voice rest, and then go live and just practice for 10 hours straight, and then repeat it again and again until league start. So I'll catch you later. Have a good one.